All right, everybody. Hello and good morning. We are starting ever so slightly late, but we are online and ready to go now. How you doing this morning, Zombie Grub?
Which one am I using to talk?
What's that?
Bless you.
I have Skype muted.
Okay, cool. Then that's what I figured. All right, I'm pretty good. What's up with you?
I have having the worst night of all time, but you know what? I'm hoping some
Oh.
StarCraft makes it better.
Sorry to hear that.
I don't know if I just like over-exhausted myself yesterday or what, but I went to bed feeling the most tired I've ever felt in my life, and then could not sleep. So
22,000 is a lot of steps.
oh, you saw? Yeah.
I did.
So yeah, my everything is sore. I have no sleep, and I've got a water bottle full of G Fuel and a dream.
Ooh, G Fuel.
I've actually very much intentionally stayed off of it for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Not because I dislike it or what have you. I just wanted to try. But now we're diving headfirst into some StarCraft, and maybe I'll need that energy. We'll get the overlay fixed up in just a moment, guys. But before then, let's get this first introduction out of the way. It's bright and early 3 a.m. here on the West Coast. Not sure what time it is for him, but in the top left, we got the red Protoss PiLiPiLi.
I keep forgetting where that guy lives. In the bottom right has the blue Zerg. It is Liquid Snute.
Also, just a quick note. It will be hopefully soon that we will have Rapid Casting and Zeph joining us, I believe, tomorrow for the cast.
Yes.
Not today. Feels sad, man.
Yeah, both of them happen to be busy today. Rapid casting SSL in 3 hours.
Yeah.
Quite a late start, 10 p.m. Korea time.
Actually, it's kind of funny because we had originally planned this out and it was like all perfect. Like, oh, we'd have like Rapid for day 1 and Zeph would come for day 2, but things fall through and you guys get a just classically old Rifkin Zombie cast. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there isn't. But yeah, we have a busy month, busy next few days. I mean, I get to play in a tournament tonight, which is awesome.
Yeah, the caster round of Are you prepared for that? Have you
No.
prepared anything for it? Is what I should have said.
I have played. Okay, no one tell Todd this, all right, guys? It's super secret. I have played one game where I cheesed, and I think I have the build order down because of that.
I was gonna say we've got a ton of Jockshi and Gumiho replays for you to look at too.
I actually watched Beyond. I was doing my build order tutorial anyways. I was like, well, this will sync up perfectly, but I did it so absolutely correctly the first time that I didn't need to continue practice it, which is like it's like a good thing, but also like, okay, well, am I really gonna remember it 48 hours later? So we'll see, and I also have to freshen up on my my macro build too. I don't really play a lot of TVPs. There's just like no Protoss on ladder. It's not my fault. So we'll see what happens.
If you could do a better version than what I did, I got damn close to that first game.
I mean, Todd has played against like worse opponents and then like gotten like tilted, right, because of weirdness. So, it's like a tiniest little shred of hope, but I don't know about that. But anyways, after that is another. This is gonna finish up tomorrow with the round of 4 in the finals, and then we have Corsair Cup right after. So.
Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a double cast. Tomorrow's also my birthday. If you guys wanna get me anything for my birthday, get me some bits, give me some cheers. I'd appreciate it. But hey, one thing to note too. This whole tournament, we gotta throw some credit Zombie Grub's way, guys. 99% of what you see on the channel is like Rifkin's and Maniacal doing, and we both just show up to work for it. But this was something orchestrated by Zombie Grub, so hey! If you guys enjoy the show today, you'll know who to thank.
Doesn't happen too often. I was pretty proud about the last one that I did, right? The impromptu BaseTradeTV house warming, like whatever we called it, right? Because that was actually a really good day. You guys gave us a lot of love that day. Bits, subs, all that. Just have a lucky touch.
Oh, that reminds me as well. I don't know how we're gonna do it because last time it was messy, and I don't want to do it the same way. But I got my hands on another BlizzCon ticket. Only one through the July 5th sale. But they have it set up so you have until July 13th to change the name on the ticket. So sometime before July 13th, we're gonna try and find a way to, I don't know, sell or auction off or something the BlizzCon ticket.
That's cool. I know a lot of people still really want one. I know, like, I mean, besides them being super expensive, just getting out to BlizzCon also sometimes can't be worked. But I guess, like, the good news is that, like, unlike some other events where, like, ticket sales go on very late and also get sold out, you know, like, you actually still have oh my god, 4 months. Okay, that's a little less scary, but still 4 months to plan. Oh, man. This year has gone by quite fast.
Certainly has.
Anyway.
Well, anyway, indeed, it's been a slow opener, but we're finally reaching the apex of it. So we're gonna have the Dark Shrine, Warp Prism, build out a PiLiPiLi. I love the charge that complements this, though. Meanwhile, for Snute, he's gone for a lot of roaches, a lot of lings. He got away with a decent amount of early game greed, but nothing too crazy. So he's gonna be set to defend this as long as he's on top of it initially. But the charge slots add this really cool element now, where it's like, okay, you're doing the 2 Archons in the main, drag and drop. Maybe the charge slots hit the 3rd. Or they just all go together. Either way, PiLiPiLi's got a lot of power in the small amount of units he has.
You know, he's still producing a couple probes here and there. So, like, while initially I wondered if that 3rd was a fake, you know, with how much he invested into it, it is still being put down. Like, 6 gateways, charge, and Archons. That's a lot. But still found the room for the 3rd base. Luckily for Snute, it looks like he's going to get a cancel here. He is dedicating quite a bit, and he actually has an army still back at home in the form of roaches.
Yeah, Queen's looking to hold strong, too, with some transfuses going in. Eating those Archon blasts, that poor Queen on the front line.
Yeah, took the brunt of it. Unfortunately, this has not really worked. Snute had vision he had vision everywhere. He was just running around with so many units, but he never really got into the main base. Had something still happen that tipped him off to make a lot of units first. So his drone count has been kind of low. It's actually at like 34 to, 44 or something like that at one point, but now it's getting back up there.
Well, War Prism sails away, but it does sail away with its cargo intact. Ling's running down the middle of the map. Not a lot for them to really do with the Zealots now protecting this base, but getting the cancel the first time was already very nice.
Yeah. PiLiPiLi at least kept that War Prism alive, so the threat of harassment still exists, but it did not do what he was expecting. Too bad. Usually that's I don't want to say usually, but a lot of the times that can just completely surprise an opponent who is playing very greedy and trying to be very, like, what's it called? Towing the line. There we go. Towing the line of defending against that Archon drop. That's when suddenly the addition of the charge lots really kills Zerg. Not Snute.
Well, Snoot's looking to kill PiLiPiLi. That's a lot of banelings coming in. He's going to have speed and health for them to time this out, so those could either go straight into the pylons, take out the Nexus, maybe just goes into the Zealots. There's some usefulness there. Oh, excuse me.
Hopefully the harassment wasn't pulling his attention away too much. Does respond very quickly to those banelings, and they're in a bit of danger. Run!
You know, Archons are a lot faster than I would give them credit for, I gotta say.
Yeah, I've never really considered them a slow or fast unit, but watching them roll out...
It's a quantum anomaly. They're neither fast nor slow until you measure it.
Whoa. Whoa. Sounded really scientific there.
Well, that's how it works, though.
But
It's like that Futurama thing.
Right.
No fair! You changed the outcome by measuring it!
Yeah, but did you get that like the actual physics joke in that one? Because I didn't.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
No, I did not get it. I thought he was just saying, like, because you could measure it so, like, well detailed, that's no fair. Because, like, before the microscope.
Well, that's the whole reason it's a quantum. Okay, anyways.
I know now. Jesus.
Okay, I'm not trying to be condescending. It's just for me, it was really obvious, I guess. But anyways, this attack. Ooh boy, it's a little bit light for PiLiPiLi. Although it is a lot of Archons, this is where the Hydras are gonna really do well. The Immortals also start getting taken out. The Zealots eat the Baneling straight to the face. But PiLiPiLi, maybe with that Guardian Shield, starts breaking this, but he's losing those Archons. He's lost the barrier on the Immortals. Once he's actually get pounced upon, they're going to go down. He's had a much harder time tackling the Zealots. He chases the Warp Prism, wants to fire it down, not quite going to get it.
But just breaking that attack should be good enough. Snute's on 4 bases. Even though he doesn't have that much of a drone count, he does have a gold as one of those bases. And it's just taking out a lot of very technical units here for PiLiPiLi. PiLiPiLi's going to try and warp in DTs now. Maybe notice the lack of an Overseer.
I do love watching Snute play, by the way. When he's playing really well, it shows. And I feel like he was so ready for that attack. He catches a new Immortal over here by the production. He's going to force PiLiPiLi to come back through a tight choke to fight against him.
Snute doesn't be careful. You know, he ran in there without too many banelings. The banelings he did have were used on that wall. And that's one thing PiLiPiLi wasn't going to have too much trouble replacing. And that was going to be the charge lots. They're mineral based and they're all from those like tons of gateways that he has. It was more so the Archons and the Immortals that were in danger. So this game's not over yet.
Yeah, he didn't quite get to the mineral line. It was pretty close to being dangerous. I thought he was going to just say, you know what, I'm going to lose these units anyways. Let's shove him right in there. But he saved a few Hydralisks, so I guess overall not a bad retreat. Round 2 comes in. This time it's got significantly less Archons in it, though. A lot more Zealots, but that's where the Banelings start being really, really handy.
That is true, but Snute not able to really get as many Banelings as he maybe wants. I mean, of course, if the Zealots all clump up, then, you know, 6 Banelings would do it too, right? But this is ideally not what's going to happen for PiLiPiLi. A couple more are morphing in, but it's really just like 9. Most of them are going into these Archons here as they roll forward.
But man, that choke working really well for the Hydras. Archon, Zealots, you name it, they are these clunkier units. It's harder to get through there. Snute knows his strengths because there's no storms. He can huddle up.
I was going to say, the sentries on the backside do have a little bit of energy, so that looked tempting. It's not going to happen. That hatchery's going to go down. I think Snute kind of needed that.
He did. The gold base income was huge because his main's mined out. His natural's getting kind of low as we speak. And now matching 3 bases for 3 against an army of incredibly strong units. The funny thing is, though, and we don't see this dynamic often, nice bailing hits. The upgrades for Snute. He's barely missing this. That +2 is so close to finishing. I hope he doesn't throw away too many Hydras.
Well, it looks like taking out those Zealots might have been the real kick. I mean, it was supposed to be the real kicker, and just the fact that PiLiPiLi wasn't expecting to be chased like this meant that he had let them clump up exactly like Snute was hoping for.
That stutter step was sexy.
And of course, I guess just looking back on the macro too, even if he hadn't taken that extreme Baneling hit to the face of his Zealots, PiLiPiLi was going to start struggling replacing them. You know, he's been on 3 bases for quite a long time, only 4th base down, like about halfway done now, and he would have started to lose out minerals.
This kind of goes back to what I mentioned moments ago, right? There's no storm, so Snute doesn't have any fear to clump. The Banelings who just go in willy-nilly. And without storms, without Colossus, without disruptors, without some sort of area of effect, there was never going to be an easy way to clear out this army.
No, that is true. I mean, PiLiPiLi, I think twice now, this attack has almost worked. It has skipped upgrades and it skipped storm. So it was, in a lot of senses, all in, because it also delayed a 4th base for a very long time. But it was so close to working. But it might be too late now to try and fix those things, like get the +1, get the storm. I mean, he gets a 4th base up and running, and that's a great start to recovering his army. And it's really not that bad. It's at an even army supply, but I am a little worried Steve's going to get those same hits and maybe just surprise PiLiPiLi.
I'm just looking at the army supply. It looks even, but Pili is on 11 sentries. I feel like even if all of those get just great force fields, that's eating up so much of his army supply in low damage units that won't fare well one-on-one against Hydras or Banelings.
Plus, I feel like being on the defensive, he's not quite, forcing himself into good positions with those. Now, I think he's a little more calmer, right? Like, the Snute didn't go into the natural base.
Oh, here we go. Zealots get washed out by the Banelings. And it's +2 weapons for the Hydras. Gonna tear through everything here.
Much. Yeah, there's so much army on the left side. This is looking like it's it. Ling's coming from the back, too. Snute never got into PiLiPiLi's economy. Not really. Well, I guess I had that 3rd cancel in the very beginning, but it matters. Army was just so much better.
Yeah, this was a really good macro game out of Snute, and I like that there was no... Like, he didn't vary from this. I've mentioned it a million times. This is the composition every Zerg player is going to be going for. You're going to have Hydras, Lings, and Banelings. The end. Now the game is about how you play against it and how each player trades with it. And as we can see for PiLiPiLi, without area of effect damage, it doesn't quite cut the mustard. It almost does, though. Zealots are almost, unupgraded Zealots for the most part, are almost so good.
I mean, considering how that game started with the canceled third and the Warp Prism charge attack that was just like so easily dealt with, I'm surprised at how close both of the follow-up attacks really were. A couple less Banelings, a couple more Archon, like something like that. And I feel like there's a snowball effect. So not thinking for Snute 3-0. Like maybe I think a lot of people thought just like automatically Europe over NA, but PiLiPiLi has been more so on the radar than in the past.
Oh yeah,
about his play. So
he's been pretty good lately. I'm oh gosh, REC's not working again, so
oof.
I'm not having a great time here, struggling with allergies and all this no sleep. My body just feels like it's breaking down on the inside. Snute says he needs just a moment, guys. We are actually going to just take a quick commercial break here, 2 minutes. I gotta get some more tissues, so see you guys soon. Alright folks, welcome back. Thank you for affording me that small break. I do appreciate it. Hopefully collecting my wits now, as I still have not tweeted about the matches. We'll do that in a sec as we get to game number 2. Spawning into the upper right, he is currently down 1 game, but only 1 in this best of 5. We've got the Blue Protoss, PiLiPiLi, repping that Storm Gaming.
In the bottom left, as the red Zerg, it is Snute.
Aww. Devin Wolf, you beautiful bastard. What a great way to start off the morning. Thank you for those bits.
Hey.
Claims the title of Bit Boss in the process, and will now have boss powers. Additionally, Devin Wolf, when you hear this, let me know in chat if you want us to start the arena or unleash the zombie apocalypse.
Oh, hey. So bits are like, the conversion for them makes up for a lot of those zeros. So like it's I'm just bringing this up because in Korea it's kind of the same thing. Like a lot of it, like you see the Korean won thing, 1,000 won, right? You're
1,000 won is
money.
like $10. Yeah.
It's actually even less than that's $1, right? It's like it's so weird. Korean you take away 3 zeros, Japanese take away 2. I think bits are take away 2, right? Like as well. Anyway, but yeah, it's really weird to see that. But today I saw like it blew my mind, Rifkin. Like I know eating in Korea is really cheap, which is awesome. You get like a perfect meal for me for like $3 or $4. Great, fantastic. But like there was an ad on the subway today, and there was like ramen at the CVS for 10 cents. Like not like crappy little like in the plastic like wrapper ramen, but actually like a bowl of ramen that usually costs $2. And I was like, well that's pretty cheap. 101.
Well,
what the hell,
okay.
man?
So that does sound cheap and delicious, but then also we do need to ask, is it worth it? Are you that hard up for cash that you're like 10 cents? Oh my god, life changing.
No, but I do like to think that I pay attention to prices, because it'd be much worse, right? If I was like,
oh,
Rifkin, did you know that milk costs like $4? Like, what the shit is that?
Okay, that's fair. Proxy Stargate coming into play, by the way, guys. This is going to be really neat to see. Pili, I don't think is feeling too desperate after that game. Like, that wasn't a hard loss for him. That was a barely loss for him, I feel. So, this just changes up tactics. It may be looking at Snute off guard, but, I mean, it's got to be said, Snute is not a complacent player. He usually doesn't play without spore crawlers. He doesn't play risky. So, I don't know that this will do much, but it still might get something done.
It's always so weird to see a proxy Stargate versus a Zerg. I mean, a proxy Stargate versus a Terran still has the potential to end the game, although more likely just does a lot of damage. But versus Zerg, I feel like I've rarely seen one that I was like, well, it's a good thing he proxied that, because otherwise it wouldn't have even worked. Either, it accidentally goes into where the 2 queens are, or it's scouted. Okay. Or there's just a cautionary spore crawler anyway type thing. But yeah, that's a decent scout. Now, like with the extra queens coming out, he'll just try and move them into position so that they scare that away immediately.
But that's the problem with this, right? The fact that it was revealed behind it. The Oracle trades out decently here. Barely gets out alive. But the Stargate? Oh my god, he barely... for a second I was like, is that second Oracle even going to finish?
Good thing you had a chrono on that.
Yeah, if you didn't,
It's
wouldn't have done.
It still kind of sucks though to lose the power of that Stargate. I mean, the 2 oracles, that should be enough. Because even if you lose one, you got that backup one. But I don't know. It's always like, well, what if you do lose it? What if they have lurkers, or what if the army is just out positioning you, right? Because Revelation's going to help a lot with that. Then you are, you know, observers can only do so much basically. Oracle's good to have. And I guess if the game really goes on for a long time, you don't already have that ability to get to a fleet beacon, but that's far in the future. Of course, Snoot's going to be looking for the very weak Oracle, so it might just go down. I have a feeling that it will. It's a matter of time type thing. But hopefully it gets a couple of good spells cast before then.
I can never remember the arena command. I always have to go look this up. Devon Wolf wants the arena. So, there we go. Finally finish off down there. No chance for a second, like, pylon sneaky come down.
We actually have PiLiPiLi going for double robo. Whoa. I do anticipate having robotics bay right after that. He is skipping a lot of what we usually see tech-wise. Chemical stasis traps going down here. Important things so the Oracle didn't die. The stasis traps themselves didn't do very much. But yeah, he didn't, you know, he doesn't have a Twilight Council, he doesn't have a Forge, just getting them now, but you know, it's preferred for the Robos, which is just, I mean, this is like beginning Legacy of the Void, yeah? Like, it doesn't get a robotics bay, then it is just double pumped Immortals, which is very old, I feel. It's been a while since we've seen this quick double pumped Immortals. And as soon as Snute saw it, too, like, he slapped down that Spire. I think is a great move.
Yeah, brilliant move out of Snute. One thing that's going to be great for this isn't just like, oh, mutas shoot Immortals and Immortals can't shoot back. But it's going to be A, taking out the Oracles, and B, maneuvering around to hit probes, like, in areas that those Immortals can't defend against, right?
Oh. PiLiPiLi. I mean, with 2 Oracles, you'd think they'd eventually scout it, but it is, I feel like, in a bit odd of a location. The 3rd base, kind of tucked away in the corner there. The Oracles haven't gone back there since they were produced and had to fly over it. Snoot's constantly checking with his links too. Doesn't have to really waste that much money or gas on anything but the mutas. Not that he was looking to get a whole lot. He still has a Hydra Sen after all, and still needs to get his upgrades, +2 and the Hydra upgrades, but he needs to get to safely get like 6. That will not only deal with the Oracles, but also I think he was very aware of the potential of a Warp Prism play with double Robo, although I don't think we have one.
Well, actually, so what's kind of cool is I like Storms. This was something we noted was missing in Game 1. So when it comes down to the Lings and the Hydras and the Banelings, you'll need those Storms. But, fully aware that mutas are going to be the problem here, he does throw in 2 Stargates to make up for it. He never saw the Spire, but he had a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, and he does see it now confirmed as the mutas pop out, but I think that is a very good thing to do. Just so you know that the Scout was on those double Robo. 3 Stargates even. Actually, I'm a little scared that's an overreaction. Of course, it is just the 6 mutas that can help with Warp Prisms and clean up the Oracles. And now that the Oracles have successfully been cleaned up, there's nothing else to scout for PiLiPiLi. So he doesn't know, I think, exactly how much is being put into maybe more mutas, although we'll figure that out eventually, or whether it's about the Hydra bust is happening, like, right now, right? 12 Hydras on the way. He'll have Storm. That's a great cover for his ground army, and he might, you know, be fine, but he's going to be in the dark for a little bit.
Good hold for the time being. Concern is, though, even with that cannon up here and the SimCity being a little bit funky, this, I think, really favors Lings in any surrounding engagement.
Yeah. Those are the first High Templars being warped in just now, so they will not have energy for a Storm. Mass Phoenix, because that's kind of where it's going with triple produced Phoenix, can help against Hydras, but they have to be in that high number. Definitely a scary moment right here, as Snoot's like, his army is almost ready to go with its upgrades too, with Banelings here. Oh, it finds the High Templars.
Oh, no chance
storms.
for storms.
Oh, brutal.
That is a huge deny for PiLiPiLi, because that could have traded out for some of this army. That army deficit wouldn't be so bad coming out of it. But the fact now that it's almost double the army supply for Snute, his upgrades are better. Here comes the Phoenix on the backside, but those get picked off immediately.
Yeah, that's not enough. I mean, that's so many Hydras, too. That's 23 Hydras. You would need a lot. And you'd also need them to be distracted, too, I think, to actually let the Phoenixes swoop in there and help.
Wow,
So
the lack of storms is killer. I mean, those Templar, they were possibly what we're going to win them, that fight. Without them, not a chance.
Yeah. All right, so not as close of a game as the first one. I feel like Pili really went like into his bag of builds there and found and like dusted one off type of thing, right? Yeah, like I feel like even Resonating Glaives into Stargates is a more recent build.
You know, it's the Nintendo cartridge. It's just like
you had to blow into it first, then it would have worked.
So yeah, the problem is like it didn't work now, but it will next time he blows into it, right? Like this is the logic. All right, well, that's a 2-0 lead now for Snute. He's got to be feeling pretty secure about this. I mean, Snute was already pretty good at this matchup in the first place. I do want to comment, though, something interesting someone brought up in terms of, like, time frame. Why is it so early for the NA players? So, for me, the definition of early has no meaning, to be clear at this point. You know, we're waking up at 3 a.m. to cast type thing. Luckily, though, I don't know where PiLiPiLi is, but I know he's like a night owl anyways. Jon Snow's in Korea, so time's fine for him. Kenny and Game Time, I believe, are both East Coast, so by the time we get to their series, it'll be like 7 or 8 a.m., which is still early, sure, but it's not 3 a.m. early.
It's not as brutal, and no one actually said anything about the time, which is a little surprising. Yeah, we're about ready to go. Just asking if we're ready. By the way, so I guess like this is why you were still getting ready, and I want to note this in case Naruto has to leave, just because it's kind of weird. He comes into chat like 5 minutes before you do, and he's like, "I think I just broke my wrist," and I was like,
"Oh,
well, go to a doctor." And he was like, "No, I'll just wait till after the series." But apparently, he slipped on his cat's water.
Oh no!
He's landed incorrectly, so if he leaves, that explains it. But I'm like, if you think you broke something, that's got to be a lot of pain. Just like gritting his teeth with his wrist on his mouse pad.
I've broken several bones at this point in my life. I know what that feels like. Also, I got decapitated by Marcos, and you got run through by Weinzerg. So Marcos, you are now no longer a mod on the channel, and Zombie Up, you can find out what you want to do with Weinzerg.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding, of course.
I don't
Continue
know.
on this best of 5. It's game number 3, and possibly the end of the series. He's currently on his last life in the lower right, the blue Protoss, PiLiPiLi.
And in the top left, as the red Zerg, it is Snute.
Also, we had a sub earlier with a really nice message that we missed.
Okay.
There we go. Dankling was the 3-month resub saying, "It's my longest sub. You guys rock." Thank you very much. That kind of reminds me, I don't know why that reminds me, but yo, so I don't know if you guys see this picture or not, but yesterday, guys, part of pushing myself way too hard to this point of death, I was doing Pokemon Go, and I ran into this problem where I was spending 42 minutes inside a parking garage, frustratingly trying to queue into a battle. Because A, the GPS is really bad in that area where the gym is, and B, there's just nobody else around. So I'm about to give up and go home frustrated, sad, and then, dude, like, the Riders of Rohan coming over the hilltops, this group of, like, 4 parents and their, like, 7 kids come walking in, and each of these parents has, like, 2 phones. Each of these kids has an iPad, and they're all ready to go, and my group queue goes from, like, 3 to 17 in like an instant. It was the best.
Yeah, so I saw that picture and I showed it to like Rap because it was during DSL, and I kind of laughed at it. But that's not a wall.
No,
I feel like that was supposed to be a wall.
That's supposed to be 1 grid point back into the right. That's the perfect wall there.
That feels like an early morning. I didn't have my coffee wall. Like There are multiple ways to wall off on Abyssal, actually.
Well, you know, in fairness, though, with as dumb and silly as this wall may be, had Snute just come from one direction, the left side, the typical side, he would have found himself against the full wall, had to go all the way around, and that would have been time for the second Zealot. So,
yeah,
it didn't work out here, and there are better versions of this wall that we've seen, but this kind of works out in the end. Just
yeah, I think you're
very
absolutely
smooth.
right. It's a very good point. Like, if the left side is where they come in first, which is usually what they're going to try first, then that's enough time to get the second wall up. But I'm pretty sure, as I was saying, like, there's actually a ton of walls on Abyssal Reef, and the most clever one is only one space. So
yeah, it's with the gateway being back, so you can move between if you need to as well.
Yeah. So it looks a little bit funky, but it also like has an added benefit too of having so many pylons. There's really no risk of getting those taken out and losing that production. So it was like only a pool, not a speed follow-up, not like roach or anything like that. So very limited amount of damage. A lot of lost mining time with the pro pool, but the Zealots live, and that's what they're trying to attack right now. This isn't too shabby if they can get a couple of kills. If they can't get anything though, at least they live, I guess.
I really like that a lot, because if you guys don't know, you can actually straight up slaughter queens with Zealots in the early game. 3 queens with no transfuses like that, if there was no other factors involved, I think the Mothership Core and the Zealots take that on with just a good, easy time.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty disappointing that the queens do just push that back, because it's not just that they didn't die, it's also that not really a lot of lings were produced. So he lost 5 and has 5. Like, okay, yeah, I think he just made like 2 extra sets, honestly. So that's really, I don't think, what the 2 Zealots are hoping for, but it was something, and it said like, well, a lot of damage wasn't done to PiLiPiLi, so he's trying to recover now. Once again, sending the Zealots out. I mean, they just confirmed that the lings still don't have speed, so they don't really have to be that afraid, and it's with the Mothership Core again. So I don't know when's the last time we saw 2 recalls back to back. Usually this thing just stays at home and is worthless when it really needs to recall.
Well, these are off creep. No running. Target's the one they have to transfuse. Feels bad, man.
Now this is nice. The queens can't really chase. Luckily there's no drones over here, and the hatchery is not gonna die, but 2 queens for a Zealot so far.
Decent trade.
Good. Yeah. Also a bit of distraction. The Oracle goes into the natural, so that's 2 queens lost, and then 1 more queen that was supposed to come over here. But luckily there was a Spore Crawler, so it didn't quite skirt the edges as much as could have, and only 2 drones die. I'll get that Illusion Chamber for +1. There you go. PiLiPiLi not just going for Oracles, of which he's gotten 2, but also adding on a Phoenix. We'll see if he adds any more. Third base comes down pretty clean behind this too, so far he's scouted no Ling Floods to have to worry about it.
Oh, man. It's a good thing Snute likes playing with a lot of queens. He's got extras.
Yeah. I mean, Snute's still... Okay, so he doesn't have lings to stop PiLiPiLi's throw, but to know he doesn't have lings, that's like a lot more drones. He just made like 17 more. Already up to the 60s here. That's pretty good. And PiLiPiLi once again going for double robo. I really didn't expect it, actually. Not just because it's like an older way to play, but also just... It didn't really work out that way last time. I guess this game he has the Stargate already, like maybe that's a big difference. It didn't die, it wasn't proxied.
Well, going back to the point of double ropo, we did see Colossus come back into play with... Oh, who was it? Was it Hero? I don't remember.
I don't know, but if you want to see Colossus for sure in this matchup, then just check last night's VODs after you watch this, of course. Yeah, Colossus coming back.
I was gonna say, it's at least the potential for AoE, area of effect damage, if he's not gonna be getting the storms out, but Stasis Trap's trying to cover the Adepts is really interesting here. So it'll stop the lings, but the queens will never reach out far enough to trigger this.
Yeah.
It died.
Very much. Yeah, it just died. It can be detected and killed. I guess it's something that doesn't really happen that often, because it just gets triggered instead, but... transfuses go down, Hydra's on the way, so I'm glad you brought up the Colossus too. Not just because it's a cool little addition here, but I do feel like played absolutely properly. So that means like a lot, like not having in the early game and whatnot. It can be kind of like a straight up almost counter. Counter's not such a strong word, right? But like a counter to Lingbane Hydra, especially with a lot of sentries. And that's what was pretty exciting about today's last night's wherever you are GSL group, because that's where it was showcased pretty strongly. But regardless, Aspire would have been good against it, and that is one thing what Steve's doing. So it's not Colossus, it's Immortals with the there you go, charge and +1 on the way too. But I like that Theorycraft. And I was kind of hoping that we'd see it again, but of course PiLiPiLi I'm hoping was asleep at that time. Otherwise he's been up for like 24 hours. I don't know. The Scarlet hype had a lot of people, I guess, staying up.
Scarlet hype was real though.
Yes,
I think I was drifting off to sleep in that game she beat Innovation or whatever.
Game 1?
Yeah.
Should have seen game 2.
Unfortunately did not, because I was trying to sleep and then didn't sleep. So, good times.
I mean, it's probably okay you didn't. So, the Spire option is here. I imagine, once again, it's just the limited amount of mutas that you can initially back into those Hydras. That worked out so well last time. But I also feel like, besides PiLiPiLi having proxy to Stargate and losing it, going into triple Stargate felt like... I'm pretty sure it was a reaction to what he thought was Aspire. Because remember, he put it down before he saw it was Aspire. But like, I'm still pretty sure he was thinking about it. Although, I'm actually unsure. But the point is, I don't think that was a very helpful thing to do. You don't need that many Phoenixes against mutas. And even with triple Stargate, I don't think you can get that, like, enough Phoenixes to help out against what is a very large growing Hydra army. So I definitely like this follow-up better with Storm and Charge. That is now a very concrete wall.
Oh god. Overcharges are the only anti-air here. Archon's just finishing up.
Yeah, the High Templars did die. Oh boy, that's actually big news. There are no more High Templars getting energy, and that army is, yeah, it's getting prepared here. You know, if he had immediately warped in more High Templar, maybe the time of the Banelings and the, you know, should I or shouldn't I is enough time, but he still doesn't have any.
Stasis traps really need to be at home right now. Not Revelation on the natural base, that's for sure. Without those stasis traps, actually, and no adequate well, I guess area of effect damage even. Like, there's a couple Archon blasts, but really, as you see, this seems to do limited damage. It's the Hydras that really, really matter behind this.
Well, the Banelings are all gone. It's just that PvZ doesn't have a very big army behind that.
No.
And no storms.
Things getting depowered in the main, too. Phoenixes did not deal with the mutas.
Come on, storms!
Try to get a stasis trap off.
Yeah. There will be 2 storms for this follow-up push. That's the good news. But, of course, the bad news is that PiLiPiLi already lost a lot of his army and lost his 4th base straight up. As well as his Templar Archive? No, wait, what was that just got killed? I thought that was something important, but I actually might have been crazy. The Templar Archives are right there, so I don't remember. Oh, that's what he's replacing. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Shift K is the button, don't forget about it.
What did it die? I don't know, whatever.
Sure, this building's lost.
I know, but I was gonna say, what if it had died previously? Then there's only been two film forges. There are storms, but not enough.
Yeah, the surrounding the Immortals is pretty darn good. The warp-ins are not going to matter. The big thing is, like, normally you have all these charge lots and there's something else firing over them. GG. PiLiPiLi will get 3-0'd by Liquid Snute.
Strong initial game. I don't know about the last 2.
Yeah, similar thoughts here. People ask about the whole showmatch aspect of this, and I'm fully aware it's because I misspelled showmatch in the title. First off, Yord does still cover us, so if you guys are looking to buy wood watches for cheap, make sure to do it through Yord. But this is just something we decided to throw, guys. There's no real sponsor involved with this one. It's just simply we're so desperate to stay relevant in the StarCraft scene. You got big casters like Fear Dragon making waves, and we just, we gotta stay afloat somehow. So we threw out some show matches for you guys, and I hope okay with it. No, I don't know.
It works.
Having some good times. There's what, a $900 prize pool for this, right?
Yes,
There we go.
that is correct. So top 4.
Well, next one coming up is, was it in the order of what you got on Team Liquid, or?
Yes, it is. The players are aware of that too. So Jon Snow took a quick nap, but hopefully he'll be waking up like within the next couple of minutes.
Oh,
and
okay. Well,
Tilo's ready to go.
I guess the worst case we could try moving forward, but that's where it gets difficult because that's where the NA players and their possible time zones come into play.
Yeah.
Actually, question for you, because you got to meet him. We'll go to commercial break here in a moment, but how's Jon Snow been dealing with Korea? Is he enjoying it so far?
Yeah, I actually got to hang out with him.
Don't tell Jane. She's wildly jealous.
Oh, actually, that was a funny part of the conversation. So it was like a lot of people went to a Lasers GSL group. So Jon Snow went to support No Regret, the film crew, me, Silgi, like a lot of people. And I just remember like Silgi, which is No Regret's girlfriend, by the way, was talking to Jon Snow and about him needing to talk to his girlfriend like 10 hours a day or something like that. And she was like, what? And I thought it was funny because like Silgi's not exactly like a totally casual, lax girlfriend, right? Like,
No.
So to her to be so strongly reacting to that, I was like, that says something there. But no, he's a super cool guy. Actually, we hung out, drank a few beers, tasteless. It was good times, and apparently he really likes Korea. No culture shock or anything, just a chill time.
Cool. Good stuff to hear for Jon Snow. All right, guys, we're gonna go to commercial break, and hopefully we will find him. Worst case scenario is we just poke somebody in the house to go wake him up, throw some ice water on him or something. I don't know. But we'll be back in a bit. Thanks for watching. We got more. We got three more best of 5s. We'll see you in a bit.